The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 278. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have an amazing lady on the show today. She is the founder and champion of communication at Bon Intent, and she also has her own podcast, which is called Cup of Comms, and I'm just really excited to have her on and share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Jennifer Choi. Jennifer, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
I am so great. I'm thrilled to be on the show. And yeah, as Sheena mentioned, I am a champion of communication at Bon Intent. And I just love human connection. So I really think that communication is a key tool for human connection. So thanks for having me on the show.
Not a problem. It's great to have you on today. And Jennifer, what's your cultural background?
So I'm a Chinese American. I grew up in San Francisco, actually right next to Chinatown. So from a really young age, I was speaking Cantonese and I was speaking English. But then in college, I studied abroad in Paris. And ever since then, since I do a lot of traveling, now I consider myself to be kind of a citizen of the world, if I'm allowed to say that.
Of course, you're allowed to say that. You can be anything you want to be on the show. That's what it's all about, having that confidence. So love it. And, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
My favorite self-confidence quote is, "Don't let small minds convince you that your dreams are too big." The reason why that's my favorite is there's just going to be a lot of people who are like, "Oh, that's crazy. I can't believe you're thinking of that," or you can't do that. And ultimately, you really can't achieve what you want, even if somebody is like, "Oh, there's only a 1% chance that you'll get that opportunity." Well, who's to say you're not like 1 out of 100 to get that opportunity? So don't let small minds convince you that your dreams are too big.
I love that quote, and especially too, growing up as an Asian woman, every day we get our dreams turned down. It's like, you're not a seller. You're too this. You're too that. Are you crazy? People laugh at you. People joke around. They're like, why would you leave your cushy job to go after what you dream of? And, we all go through it. And sometimes it can really affect us. But when we realize how big our purpose is and our dreams is and how much we want to live our life and show others what's possible, we can pretty much go through anything. And, with life, everything, we all have our ups and downs. It's just how we react to it that really matters the most. So, love that quote that you mentioned. And how would you define self-confidence?
Ooh, self-confidence is really believing in yourself, believing that you can push yourself out of your comfort zone. But then when you push yourself out of your comfort zone, having the faith that you not only survive, but thrive, like you can really flourish and do well. And the real precursor to self-confidence is self-awareness.
Thanks for sharing that definition. And, awareness is really like 50% of that work, right? Because we have so much programs in our heads that we're not even aware of that really affect, some of the things that we do. And the moment we're aware of them, that's when we can realize, well, how can I switch it around? Or how can I fix this? Or, how can I solve that problem? So, I love the definition and how you mentioned awareness is key. And Jennifer, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
So before, in a former life, I wanted to become a veterinarian in a previous incarnation. So I'm going to use the example of an animal. So how I felt like before my discovery of self-confidence was I felt like a small bird, I felt like a small bird quietly singing songs in a tiny little cage, minding my own business. So, I felt trapped by my own doubts and fears. I thought I wasn't good enough, not pretty enough, not qualified enough. And I really had this really bad case of imposter syndrome, where whenever I did anything, I was like, oh no, I'm just an imposter. Who's going to listen to me? But the reality is, although I was in that tiny cage, what I wanted to soar, I wanted to sing loudly. I wanted to be free, but I was really imprisoned in my own self-doubt at that time point.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think, being women, especially Asian women, we're so good at punishing ourselves and doubting ourselves and self-sabotaging, what we're capable of, just because we've been used to like having others tell us what to do and pretty much have everything laid out. So when we go and make our own decisions, we're not so sure if we're capable of doing it, not realizing we are. Sometimes it's going to take us to a path that may not look like it, but in the end, you get there, and it's the best feeling in the world. And what was that time in your life when you realized, you were more than enough to go out there and do your thing? What was that aha moment?
It hasn't been a single aha moment. It's really been a collection of many moments through a journey over time. And I really want to emphasize this because it's not like one day you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm suddenly self-confident. It's such a process. So what I did was I repeatedly pushed myself out of my comfort zone. And one of my favorite things to do this and like to literally force myself to get out of my comfort zone is find my way in a foreign country. Like I'll land in a foreign country. I don't speak the language and I don't know anyone, not a single soul. And my quest is, okay, understand the language a little bit, assimilate to the culture a little bit, and then, meet fellow humans along the way. And so I think that's a really good exercise for pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. And I think travel, even if not international, really does that for you. And each time I think that something is impossible or unlikely, I just go for it and do it. There's a lot of times where I failed, but failure is not final. And the times that I did succeed, that gave me the fuel and momentum for me to carry on and keep chasing my dreams. One could be like really surprised at how much you can accomplish by simply trying like, oh, I totally didn't think that was going to work out, or I didn't think that I would land this opportunity, but I did. And it's just sometimes shocking. And you should just use that to drive you forward.
I love it. And it's true. Action is like the cure to build more self-confidence. And sometimes you have no clue what you're doing. Half the time I have no clue what I'm doing, but somewhere along the way, the actions I've taken has led me to certain things and certain, blessings that I have. And it all started with just taking action. And a lot of people think they have to figure everything out before they take action, but you can just figure it out along the way. And it's the best feeling in the world. You're like, I didn't realize I could do this. What else could I do? It's like, wow, I really amaze myself sometimes. And I say that to myself because, sometimes we forget how much power we have and how much skills and talents that we have to go out there and live our dreams. And, because of your own realizations, what's your life been like now?
Wow, now I feel seriously like two words, freedom and joy. I feel unstoppable now because I realize there's so many things that were in my own head. Using the same like bird analogy, now I feel like my wings are spread really wide. I'm soaring above the sky. I just feel totally free. Since I've become more self-confident, I've achieved so many things that I never thought would happen. Like, for example, I started my own business. I launched a podcast, and I even emceed at a TEDx event. I used to be like terrified of being on stage, especially as an Asian woman. We're taught like, don't draw attention to yourself. Don't have people look at you, just be small. But now I'm not scared of being on stage anymore. So my dream for the next chapter is to become a public speaker. And I'm just taking little steps along the way to get there, and I think with a dogged determination and a healthy dose of big dreaming, I think it's all possible if I just keep at it.
Thanks for sharing that. And, I can see you just being on stage, speaking life into people. And, once I see it, I'll just remember this episode. Like, I remember when she just started talking about it. I always believe what you can speak that life you want into existence. So just can't wait to see that. And Jennifer, if our listeners, they're listening to your episode and they're in a similar journey to self-confidence, what would be that one tip you would give to them?
Ooh, I don't have really one tip. I think my top one would be really to trust the process because it, as I mentioned, it's a journey, it's a process. It sounds super new agey, but the universe really provides if you can envision what you want and like really work hard at it. So I had trust the process literally written on my whiteboard for a full year. And that was to remind myself that there was going to be ups and downs, but that I needed to trust myself and just trust the process. So trust the process and be kind to yourself. You can definitely do it. And over time, you're going to just build more and more self-confidence. And it's going to snowball to where you feel like you don't even know yourself anymore because you're so confident. And that old you that was so shy or timid or scared or fearful, that old you is gone.
Awesome. Great tip. And I always believe that too. Trust the process. Even if we feel like, what are you doing to me, universe? It's giving you the right path. So again, great tip. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, or wanted to check out your podcast, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So you can find me at www.bonintent.com and also at www.cupofcalms.com. And I think that the links will be provided on your website as well.
Yes, they will be. And to our listeners, if you wanted to connect with Jennifer, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Jennifer's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Jennifer for taking the time to share her tips and story with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sheena. It's been a pleasure.
Not a problem. It's been an honor to have you on the show. And listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll catch you later. Bye for now.
Bye, guys. Just do it. You can do it.
Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Get your free audiobook by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.